Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
Alright folks, here we are on Sunday, March 17th. We're going to take a look at Tilray today. So, with the news catalyst coming out last week, I had some folks leave comments in various places asking for me to do an update on Tilray. So I added in some levels, and I thought I'd come and share those here. So if Tilray does get, sort of some tailwinds and wants to push hard, 172 is the nearest in level that I see. If it sort of continues on its way as it did after hours on Friday, then that level is sort of already in the rearview mirror, as would be 176 and 184. But if it does come down from that after hours push at all, those are the nearest in support levels that I would look for. And then if it continues on toward 193, 197, and then 203. So no, I don't have that exact psychological $2 level in there, but oftentimes when there's a level just above or below, and here we have one of each, basically 3 cents under, 3 cents over. That is the same as retail or folks just wrestling with the idea of, are we going to keep this at 2, right? When it's slightly below, it's, are we going to push it to 2? When it's slightly above, it's, are we going to hold this over 2? So that's sort of how that takes shape, I believe. 208, 211, 212, these fractions of a penny, I never quite know which way to round. I know you're supposed to round up on that one, I suppose, but 218, 222, and then 225, and then you can see the other ones if it really gets some legs where I have resistance levels up there. Now, if for whatever reason everything kind of falls apart, and I know this isn't what folks are expecting, but that's the way things go sometimes, there may be a little level here, or a weaker level, I could say, around like 167. That doesn't mean that it can't sort of evolve and provide some initial support. So I'm not going to put it on the chart right now because I don't know that it will evolve, but I just wanted to mention it. Recent price action would indicate maybe that 167 could provide some support. But the stronger level to me looks like 162, and then down here at 153. I think that's as far as I charted. Yeah, so basically I covered 153 to 274. And to the downside, because this stock has drawn down so much over periods of time, there isn't a lot to glean from on the downside, much more to gather on the upside, which is why we have so many levels on the chart, because we've been tracking Tilray for quite some time. So those are the levels as I see them for what they're worth. Now, on the think or swim side of things, potentially a decent call out here in the TTM squeeze indicator. TTM squeeze indicator was doing a little bit of a weird thing where it was, the price was kind of at the mid-range of the channel while it was triggering, but it was also pretty, at a pretty good clip. It was ticking down in price. Usually, if the price is sort of hovering around or pinned to the mid-range of the channel, sometimes that's, pretty much sideways, but sometimes it's slightly up, slightly down. This looks a little more than slightly to me, which is why it's a little bit sort of anomalous seeming just at a first glance. But then when it fired on the TTM squeeze indicator, we got a little move down and then a creep back up toward the mid-range, and then a little like a second dip, and then we start to get this big push. So the question is going to be, was that, albeit maybe an awkward looking trigger and fire, but maybe a relevant one nonetheless? And if that's the case, maybe this is the beginning of the big move. Now, you would tend to think with the catalyst in the news as it's presented that, that big move may come to the upside. I would just say, be aware, big move can come to the downside. This is a long distressed stock. There's been a lot of bearish pressure over time. The flip side of the coin here is, as sort of bullish as that potential news catalyst seemed, if it falls apart, the repercussions of that could be pretty dramatic. So if for some reason, the pinnings that people, or the tea leaves that people are trying to read based on the reports of the news, that doesn't necessarily mean that anything is going to come of it. And if it does fall apart, I would just be aware that that could result in a steep decline, as much as if the news does stick and something does come of it, or even if people just kind of pile in because of the bearing of the news itself, and that could drive it up. That could certainly be the case as well. So we will sort of find out probably sooner than later, I would assume, but I don't really know because I'm not in politics or government agencies. So I'll find out with the rest of you. All right, folks, I hope that you've enjoyed your weekend, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.